This week's episode is brought to you by Capital Financial Advisory Group for all your retirement needs.
Broadcasting from coast to coast, it's the Financial Safari with your host, Coach Pete D'Arruda. You'll hear from some of the nation's top financial professionals. So stick around and find out how to make it through the jungle of the financial world, right here on the Financial Safari.
Welcome to Financial Safari. Jackie Selby, consumer advocate, and I'm here with the founder of Financial Safari and the founder of Capital Financial and Insurance. It's Coach Pete. Coach Pete, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jackie?
I'm excited. I'm excited today.
Who's that gentleman to your left?
But the guy to my left is Greg Berry, who also stars on Financial Safari.
Stars, I like
yes.
that.
Oh. You guys are the stars, I'm telling you. Retirement and insurance planner who happens to grace 4 of our beautiful offices around North Carolina. We like to call him Carolina
and
Safe.
South Carolina.
Yeah, safe money. Yeah, Carolina Safe Money guy, North and South.
Carolina
right?
Safe Money guy.
I'll be doing the tour de force this week, all 4 offices.
Oh, good. Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, Greenville, and of course, Raleigh/Apex.
Yeah.
And that's where our big studios are. So I thought we could talk about medical economics today. This is a great subject. Because
there was an article in the magazine called Medical Economics.
Yes, really great tool for people to get away from being heavy in equities. In other words, people who are carrying a lot of equity weight around the middle.
Well, the title of the article was Fixed Indexed Annuities, a potent tool for diversifying away from equities. So this is a magazine that goes to the medical professions, doctors, surgeons, nurses, anybody who has anything to do with medical profession, because they spend their time taking care of us. Mm-hmm. Who takes care of them? Unfortunately, taking care of someone can be used in a good or a bad way. The mafia will take care of you. You might not wake up tomorrow, right? But if you have a bad financial advisor, it's equivalent of having a bad mobster after you because they're taking care of you in a bad way. They put financial termites into your portfolio, which are unnecessary risk, fees, and commissions, damaging your long-term survival rate for your retirement account. Greg, how important is it that people have some money put aside in a retirement account that cannot be taken away from risk, fees, and commissions?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
I.e. the stock market.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it like an 11. Okay?
Yeah.
It's critical, especially to cover that piece of the puzzle, Coach, that we work with called the income gap. Now, the income gap is the amount of money that you require to be able to maintain your current lifestyle. And if your money is in, let's say you were counting on that stock market performing, the market went down, and all of a sudden you're counting on taking 5% out of that strategy, well, you can't take 5% out anymore because it's going to go down too rapidly and you'll end up running out of money. But so that's why you want that income gap to be met by something that is not ever going to go down in value, period.
Yeah, and to go along with it, in this article, again, it was in the Medical Economics magazine, and the title, Fixed Indexed Annuities, a potent tool for diversifying away from equities. In the article, it says that Fidelity Investments did a survey, analyzed its retirement account customers. So this is Fidelity. Its own customers. Yeah. It found that 37% of those folks were way overweighted in risk. They had too much risk for their age. Now, they went on to say they probably didn't consult with the rule of 100, the investment rule of 100, which basically you put a percent after your age. And whatever that number is the amount you should never have at risk. So if you're 65% of your money should not be anywhere close to the equity market. Equities are fun when you're making money. I've been on both sides of the equity market.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, if it's your retirement account and you're getting close to retirement, can you really afford to have too much of that money at risk where you could lose it?
Right, and when you're 35, 40 years old, Coach,
it's a lot easier to take risks that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a big deal. When I was younger, I did stupid risks.
Yeah, but at age 50, we start to realize.
And people come to us. It's so funny. So many times people will be sitting in front of me and they'll just be going, I just think there's something wrong. I can't figure out, but I don't know what to do. And I'm afraid of these are things very often happen naturally. And then all of a sudden, I'll run the report for them and I'll look and I'll say, good Lord, how many times have you seen this, Coach? 97, 98% of their assets are in that red bucket that we talk about.
Well, it says in the article, having too much in stocks is risky for older people. who don't have as much time on their side to recover.
Right.
Just like we say, recovery. Remember, recovery is not gain, by the way. It's just getting back what you already lost. So it also could be argued, if you lose money, you probably won't be able to retire when you thought you were going to be able to retire.
Yeah. And if you lose money when you're retired, you may have to go back to work. Can you imagine that? All of a sudden, you're 70 years old and you got to go back to work.
That's assuming you can.
That's right.
What if you physically can't or mentally can't? Then what happens?
Then
Now you become a ward of the state.
now
You're not worried about who's going to pay for long-term care because the government's going to pay for it because you don't have any money. But they're going to put you in the place that they choose, not the place you choose. Freedom of choice gets more and more valuable as we get older. Freedom of choice. And so that's why we want to make sure not to have too much of that money at risk, right? And so we see that. Even Fidelity's admitting it from their own clients. Because you just don't have that recovery time, the runway we call it. So if you're in your 20s and you lose and the market goes down 50%, well, number one, you better not be happy about that. It's no fun to lose money.
No, nobody's ever happy.
But you at least have, if like 25, we'll say, you have 40 years to age 65. So you got 40 years to recover the money and then make some money that you lost. Make up for that to try to fill up that income gap you're talking about, Greg. Unfortunately, though, when companies stopped handling pensions, in other words, company said, you're in charge of funding your own pension, and they gave you the 401k. What a great gift.
Oh, boy.
Do you remember that?
They said, we're not going to take responsibility anymore. It's your responsibility. Yet they forgot to tell a lot of people that. So a lot of people I talk to say, well, where's my retirement money going to come from? Is Social Security going to cover me? Well, it's going to give you money, but it's not going to cover you. You'll get nowhere near what you're making in your retired life if you're depending just on Social Security compared to someone who has that put money aside during working years to give you another stream or 2 or 3 or 5 streams of income to go along to supplement, for that term, supplementing Social Security. In other words, giving you money that you can that now enables you to do what you want to do whenever you want to do it in retirement without having to ask anybody.
Do you remember that movie, The Baby Boomer Dilemma?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so great. We got to show that in 3 different cities. It was fantastic.
We actually have a secret code for that movie if you'd like to call or text the number you see on the screen. We will get you that code so you can watch that movie. It was a major motion picture.
Yeah.
A lot of people found it very enlightening. So if you'd like to watch that in the privacy of your own home, we've got a few of those codes still left.
Yeah.
Or you can pay it. You can go to Amazon, buy it for $25, or you can go ahead and text that code, and we'll give you that code, no obligation, so you can watch it in privacy of your own home.
Well, most people refer to me as the father of 401k because I designed, got internal revenue approval of the first 401k savings plan.
But do you remember the look on the wife's face when she realized her husband, because he took his pension that they had and he gave it to somebody to take care of, and they didn't take care of it, and they lost like half of it. And she was just like, how could you do this to us? It's like, that's a hard conversation with your wife, man.
Well, whoever's put them in that place was not a true fiduciary, and they were more looking out for them and their own family than their client's family. Yeah. And I always say, whose retirement are you funding, yours or your broker's? Yeah. It's either one, either the other, or maybe both, and that's not good either. You want to be funding your retirement. If your broker makes a little money, that's fine, especially if they're making you a lot of money. But if they're losing you money and they're still making a lot of money, something's out of whack, Jackie. What do you think about that?
I absolutely do. Do you think we can stretch this into another segment?
Oh, definitely. We have a lot more to talk about on this article, yes.
Good. And talk about these strategies. We're going to actually define what annuities
are first. We're going to explain on the next segment what annuities are, the good ones, the bad ones, the ugly ones, and the most important ones. The most important ones are ones that give you income. And Greg, I know you do a great job designing a one-page financial plan that will enable folks to see that true retirement income they can get based on what they already have. Do you want to give that away right now?
I got one ready to go.
Okay, how many spots should we have reserved today?
Well, we have 10 spots reserved for the first 10 callers to have an actual full-blown retirement plan put together just for you. This is not a cookie-cutter plan. It's not a cookie-cutter design. This is designed for you. Or we can show you how to insure and protect your own life savings.
Just give you a peace of mind so you never have to worry again in retirement. Jackie's going to give the number out real quick. When we come back, we're going to explain what annuities are.
Great. Follow that number on your screen. There's a great text code. And also, if you'd just rather check out the website, any way you want to book, you're going to bounce to Joanna, and she's going to get you on the schedule. Doesn't matter which office you choose to see us at, whether it's the Raleigh office, Myrtle Beach. If you want to join at Wilmington, Greg is going to be there for you. Again, use the number on the screen and use the text code. We'll be right back with more Financial Safari with Coach Pete and Greg Berrien.
Memories with Grandpa.
My first job.
My fourth job.
Crazy road trips.
Our first date. Meeting our son.
Exploring our world.
Our world. Family and friends.
Our special song.
Secure your retirement by meeting with a financial advisor.
Did you know 40.6% of Americans between ages 35 and 64 are expected to run out of money in retirement? Between living longer, rising costs, and poor saving habits, planning for retirement is more important than ever. And yes, that means more than just contributing to your 401k. You've heard it said, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Retirement planning starts with defining a budget for you and your lifestyle. Many experts say you'll spend anywhere from 55 to 80% of your annual pre-retirement income in retirement.
What I've seen in my almost 30 years in the financial and retirement planning community is that folks that have defined a budget have come out way far ahead because you know what you need for retirement. How do you plan for retirement if you don't know what you're going to need? So we look at what you like to do today, we fast forward in the future, factor in inflation and cost rises, and then we make sure we have a plan that can help you do what you want to do. Because think about it, what fun is retirement if you're not doing what you want to do? That's why we encourage and help you work out that budget now and that budget later.
Once you've prepared that budget for your lifestyle, then you need to make sure your essentials are taken care of by a guaranteed income. And here's the thing, Social Security may be guaranteed, but it also may not be enough. Warren Buffett once said, "The tour we've taken through the last century proves that market irrationality of an extreme kind periodically erupts, and compellingly suggests that investors wanting to do well had better learn how to deal with the next outbreak." And how do we deal with that next outbreak? Let's see what Coach Pete has to say.
What I've seen in my almost 30 years in the financial arena is that folks that have a long-term investment strategy usually come out far ahead. Now, an investment strategy is not just throwing money at the stock market and hoping it goes up, even though that is a strategy some people imply, because let's say you take a guess, your first guess ever on a stock, and it goes up. Now you think you're an expert. You can learn real quick that that wasn't the right way, and you're not an expert when the next stock you pick goes down. So what I advise is first we establish a core part of your portfolio. The core money is going to be there, it's going to grow, it's going to protect that growth, and it's going to give you lifetime income.
A good investment strategy can help you see the potential reward. This could be an index fund, but could also be a combination of anything from crypto to real estate.
And there's several ancillary advantages to that. One, beyond having that money protected against loss, but number two, when you have that money that's in the market, in our world, our red or risk bucket, you're a little bit less concerned about the fluctuations that you have up and down there because you have that piece that is protected. And lastly, an advantage to that is when we start to make withdrawals in retirement. Sometimes, the plans will work where we can withdraw a little bit more because, when you do a plan, and most times it's 4%, that's the golden rule. Sometimes we can go above that a little bit because that 4% is assuming 100% of that money is at risk. So if you do not have all of that money at risk, if you have some and that's completely protected, another advantage there is I could take out a little bit more in retirement because that's not going up and down with the fluctuations of the market.
One of the most important things to plan for in retirement is how you'll maintain your health. When most people think about health care in retirement, their mind goes straight to Medicare. But here's the deal, it doesn't always cover everything you'd expect. Depending on when you'd want to retire and the level of care you will need, you may need more coverage.
Well, you've probably heard me refer to health insurance. I call it wealth insurance because there's no quicker way to lose everything you have in life than not have health insurance, period.
Most people watching know somebody who's had a long-term care incident. It can bankrupt a family. And the first person that goes to the long-term care facility, the second spouse, is broke now. So we need to make sure we have a long-term care policy in place. You don't have to buy a long-term care policy, though, to get long-term care coverage. There are some specially designed life insurance policies that let you take the death benefit today to use for your long-term care. So you don't have to die to benefit from a life insurance policy, and you can be guaranteed to have that long-term care coverage by having the proper policy. So it's overlooked and understood, believe it or not. I know it's a new word, but let's get you understanding what's available to you.
The final part of a person's retirement isn't really about the person at all. Legacy planning covers more than you might think. It's not just planning an inheritance. What about special needs, account numbers, passwords? Does your partner understand where all the bills are and how they're paid? When planning for the future, make sure assets left behind go to the people you want them to, and that they don't struggle finding the information in a difficult time. Without proper planning, you can find your wealth going towards taxes, fees, and court costs instead of your loved ones.
We're so worried about today and ourselves, we forget about what's going to happen tomorrow to our relatives. More specifically, our spouses, children we care for, grandchildren, even that. So putting together a proper legacy plan is you talking from your grave to make sure people you wanted to have the money they need. Now, we want to structure it the right way. There are ways you can structure a tax-free legacy plan, and that's vitally important.
So, what does your retirement plan look like? A Transamerica study found that only 18% of respondents were actively preparing for retirement, and nearly double were thinking about it but procrastinating instead of taking action. You've worked hard for your money. If you don't have a plan or you want a second opinion on your current plan, connect with our team of advisors at Capital Financial. Our holistic process takes a look at your entire financial picture. We break it down, put it on an easy-to-understand one-page financial review, and confirm that you have enough to last the rest of your life and have a ton of fun. And as a thank you for watching, we will perform that easy-to-understand financial review completely complimentary. Give us a call today and be sure to like and subscribe for more great content.
Go to yourmoneydesk.com. We have a treasure trove of resources on the site where you can explore concepts like this and just get to know your own retirement a little bit better as you head into it.
One other site is retirementhealthcenter.com.
Yes,
we'll put them on the screen here, retirementhealthcenter.com. Videos, we try to keep them 4 minutes or less.
We do.
Because attention spans these days are about 4 minutes or less. And so, but they explain about anything you could ever thought of. We've done them on like everything from crypto to safe money to risk money to retirement income.
Both of these sites now have multiple calculators on them, so be sure to head over to yourmoneydesk.com.
Retirementhealthcenter.com.
Hi, this is Dave Perkins with the Financial Safari Radio Network. We're on the street to find out what people think, and we're in downtown Apex. Inflation, we're feeling it hard. Here's the question, has it hit you harder at the gas pump or at the grocery store?
Grocery store for sure. Well, obviously it's not good for the stock market, and it's not good for the cost of living.
Well, they're not, my jobs are not paying enough, and then, housing is going to like $1,800, so.
From gas to cars to real estate, electricity, everything's bigger.
Yes, because things cost more, right? So it's definitely something that we have realized we need to talk about more and be more careful in our planning.
It affects your portfolio.
Do you think about retirement at all, or are you doing anything about it?
Yes. I'm not too young, but it's definitely a concern of mine. I think right now, with even the consideration of an attack on Social Security is nonsense. And glad that was dismissed fast, but it's kind of at this point, like I feel like I'm always going to be working and can't imagine a time.
And Captain Had.
We are saving money out of our monthly paycheck and trying to slowly start building up a savings.
401k.
Well, it's complicated. I've got rental properties and stock account, savings, bonds.
Well, it's a pretty comprehensive plan that takes into account all of our assets, real estate, everything.
I do have a retirement plan set up, of course. And I do $300 a month.
Do you think Social Security will be there for you?
I want to hope.
But nobody says anything about the amount of money you would have collected from 62 to 66. And in some cases, that's, $100,000 or $200,000. And they'll never pay you enough money to make up for that. So I think you ought to take Social Security as early as you can.
I don't know if there will be any left for us when we get that age. We still have a long way to go, hopefully, and I am worried about the spending that we have.
I feel for the younger people. I think they're going to definitely be affected.
I think they have a place in your portfolio. You just have to make sure that you understand what the limitations are. They're more difficult to get money out of, but they're a good long-term plan.
I'm going to work as long as I can, and then I'm going to enjoy my grandchildren, great-grandchildren. That's my plan. When I turn 66.
Do you hear that? That's me enjoying my retirement. Traveling around the world to play golf, where I want, when I want, with whomever I want. Even got some customized clubs. Because years ago, I rolled over my IRA with the help of a local trusted advisor. Contact us to get started today. This is a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review to help educate and enlighten.
Welcome back into Financial Safari with Coach Pete and Greg Berrien. I'm Jackie Selby, your consumer advocate. Fellas, how's it going? Oh, do you just love this segment?
It's been a good week. The first thing we talked about, the article written to doctors and medical professionals on how they were at too much risk. A lot of them, Fidelity noticed that they had too much risk with their retirement money. You know why they write articles like this? Because they know if the proverbial roller coaster goes the wrong way right before retirement, you're not going to be retiring. Have you ever been on a roller coaster?
Oh my God!
What happens when you go up real slow?
Oh, it scares me to death.
Well, what's around the corner?
Down.
So we have to be very careful, because what if the market was like that too, and you could see and it is if you start looking at the charts, it's going up, and you finally decide to you've been reluctant. You said, oh, everybody's taking all this extra risk in the market. I'm not going to put my money in. You keep hearing that sound. It's going up, and everybody around you is bragging about how much money they're making. So you take the plunge. You say, oh, I'm going to take all my money out of the safe places, put it all in the market. Very next day, guess what happens? Murphy's Law.
Plunge.
Boom, right down.
Yeah.
That seems to be what happens, isn't it? So we have fear and greed, the two emotions that get people in the most trouble in the stock market or in retirement accounts, because we start getting greedy when we see the market go up. So we take all the money in our other places, like we divide the money appropriately amongst risk and safety. The market starts going up. We don't want to miss the bus, so to speak. So we take all our money away from all the proper places and throw it all in the market, and then the market does what it shouldn't do. Actually, what it will do, but it doesn't. We shouldn't be all our money shouldn't be in the market. We know the market doesn't go up forever, right?
Right.
So and then fear kicks in. The market goes down. It goes down. It goes down. You take your money out. The day after you take your money out, what happens? Market
goes up.
It's Murphy's Law.
And you know, Coach, you can't blame the market.
If you don't have all your eggs in one basket to begin with. That's what we're talking about. So the article basically said some annuities make sense for this, especially ones that give you the growth. You get to share in the gain of the market, and you lock the gain in every year so you don't lose that money. Even if the market goes down, you don't lose. And then let's say it does go down for a couple of years and you stay up here. Everybody else is going down that's in the market. Yeah. When the market decides to recover, it's recovering from a very low point. You're recovering from up here. So you're going to be ahead of everybody a lot further.
Well, safety is the key here. People want safety right now.
Security and income.
Yes.
And predictability. We want to be able to know with certainty, and certainty is good name too. We want to know with certainty what our income's going to be. And so then what annuities should we put? Where should we put our money? Well, there's so many different annuities out there. There's variable annuity, there's fixed indexed annuity, there's fixed annuity, there's income annuity. And some of them make sense and other ones don't.
No.
And every single one of the annuities I mentioned probably has a fit for somebody. A couple of them I'm very debatable on, especially variable annuities. I really haven't found a fit for anybody that I've recommended in a variable annuity strategy. In 31 and a half years, I've never recommended a variable annuity. No. Doesn't mean it might not be a good fit for somebody. It hadn't been a good fit for anybody that I've been looking for. No. Because we're totally independent, we're fiduciaries. We find out what you need. We consult with you and go through your total retirement plan. What are you going to do in retirement? What do you want to do? What do you want to have money to put aside to do? And then we diagram it out, map it out, and make sure to find the strategies that make sense for you and the products out there. Because we're independent, we're not beholden to one company. Greg, that means a lot too, by the way, because we can search around and find what really fits instead of making something fit.
Yeah.
We watch these shows on TV, especially they're in Alaska, they're looking for gold. A part of the tractor breaks. They can't find the part, so they make one. They make it fit. They make it fit. Well, we don't want a bush fix on retirement plan.
No.
So we can have gold in our plan without having a bush fix. And that's the secret right here, is to make sure you understand exactly what you're doing. We've got a full definition sheet on annuities. All you have to do is give a call. The number you see on the screen will get that to you. More importantly, we'll show you how they could possibly fit into your plan to give you that peace of mind and give you that total retirement plan you really need. Now, Greg, you had a hypothetical case you were talking about before the show. Do we have time to go over that right now?
Yeah. Why don't you tell us about what you assigned me to do?
All right. We have a strategy du jour.
Strategy du jour.
Yeah, strategy du jour. Now, this is a 60-year-old man.
60-year-old man.
60-year-old man.
Looking down the road.
This is hypothetical. Looking down the road. 65, he's going to need to cover some gap in his income, a gap in his income.
So 5 years he has to leave the money alone.
Right. So, all right, he wants to leave it alone for 5 years. He's got $1 million.
You got $1 million. Okay. And how much is the income gap?
$2,000.
$2,000. Okay.
And that's 5 years from now.
Yeah, well, this is very doable. Okay. Very, very doable.
What is our strategy?
Well, we're looking here, really, really simple. We're really shooting for, there's two different kinds of index annuities I like to work with. One is really geared towards growth, and the other is geared towards guaranteed income. Here we're going to go for growth because we have money to work with. And on this, what we're doing is we're going to put this into a strategy in which when this annuity issues, it's going to be $500,000. It's not going to start with $500,000, Coach. It's going to start with $590,000. All righty, because that is a bonus that goes right to the account value. Because sometimes some of these companies, they say, we're going to give you a 30% bonus. But that bonus sometimes isn't to an income account value, and it's monopoly money. It's not real money. You got to make sure that you are putting your money into something that's giving you actual real money and also goes to the death benefit.
So this person, and the hypothetical person, gives $500,000 to the annuity. They give them another $90,000 bonus on top of that?
On top of that, yeah.
So they turn their $500,000 into $590 overnight.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And let's say this person, after it closes, we shake hands and he's driving home and he dies in a car crash.
We don't want that to happen.
We don't want that to happen.
Yep.
But $590,000 passes
to his wife or whoever he assigned.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
The bonus is 100% vested upon death.
So the secret there is none of the money disappears. That's where the old annuities back in the day, Granny would die and all her money the insurance company would keep it.
Exactly.
Now that doesn't happen. And I think a lot of people are misled by that. And of course, Wall Street doesn't want you to know that doesn't happen anymore, because if Wall Street loses money, it goes into the annuity. So Wall Street does everything they can to keep you from putting your money in the safest place for you, the best place for you a lot of times. Yet it's the Wall Street people the brokers, are claiming they're fiduciaries. How are they fiduciaries if they're not putting you in the best place?
If they're not your best interest. Whose best interest is it?
Yeah.
Are they doing it for you or doing it to you?
Yeah, they have the best interest clause, by the way. They don't even have to be fiduciaries. And a lot of brokers claim to be fiduciaries when they're not. They do the best interest. They say, well, what's in the best interest for my clients? Supposedly, that's not the same as being totally unbiased.
So what you're saying is that is why annuities get a bad name, or that information is...
well, that's one of the reasons why they get a bad name. The other one is just Wall Street hates them.
Right.
Because Wall Street makes money keeping your money at risk. When money goes from this risk table to the safe table, Wall Street stops making money on every dollar that goes into safety. So why would Wall Street want you to go to safety?
Right.
Of course, because you're basically talking about taking their income away when you leave.
You take $500,000 away from them, they're not going to be happy. So anyhow, at the end of 5 years, okay, he's going to be able to start pulling away $35,000 a year. So that $35,000 is actually close to $3,000. So that extra $1,000, that's going to cover the T word.
So $3,000 a month you're talking about.
A month, yeah,
right,
$3,000 a month,
$35,000 a year.
So that's going to cover his taxes also.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful part about it. And then let's say this person finally passed away at the age of 85.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
No,
at the age of 85. Okay. They would have taken out.
Guy. So 80. So he lives to 85. So 65 to 85 is where you had his money there. I guess, right?
85, and so $758,000 they took out.
He started with $1 million.
No, he started with 500.
Sorry, he started with 500,000. And how much did he take out?
758.
All right, so he's already ahead. And then how much is left over?
725.
So it's what I call a spend and leave plan.
Wow.
He started with 500,000. He's 35,000 a year.
Yeah.
And yet, when he died, he left equal to or greater than the amount he started with to his next of kin.
Nothing wrong with that,
Coach. It's a spend and leave. That gives the Coach Pete seal of approval, by the way, which I have to approve every single thing. That makes a lot of sense. It really makes sense for you to find out what's really available for you. When you've had money, you've won the game. Don't lose the game by keeping the money in the wrong place. Coach Pete here, Greg Berrien there, Jackie Selby right there. We really appreciate your time. We hope that you come visit us. We have 10 spots available to come visit us right now to get your own Coach Pete's Power Plan, your own plan. All you do is call the number you see on the screen. There's no cost or obligation. We'll see you next week, folks.